Song of Ice and Fire. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Game of Thrones. Now it's mostly about the TV show because I haven't really finished reading the books, but with season 7 right around the corner, I was like, now is the time to do it. So as always, all opinions are my own. If you have a different opinion from what I've said today, feel free to tell me down below. So I actually didn't really get into Game of Thrones until last summer. I ended up catching up, or rather binging, up until season 6, and then I bought all the books. I started buying little things and I was just so obsessed with it. I was like, this is what I needed in my life. And I loved it ever since then. So of course I'm so excited about season 7, so now I'm gonna go ahead and answer some stuff. First question, biggest difference between the show and the book. So I've only read the first book, so there are differences that I know are coming, but I just haven't actually read them yet. And the bigger difference that I noticed that stood out to me and I just can't grasp my head around it, I feel like a lot of people forget about, is the age. I mean, we're talking about Dany being 13, Sansa like 11, and then Arya 9, Jon 14, and it's just like, I mean, we're talking about kids that are like barely in high school, and yet here they are getting married and like raped and just all these things, and it's quite traumatizing to me to just kind of see these characters going through this. Like, we see them in the show and it's like, yeah, they claim that they're supposed to be like 16, but I mean, we have actors that are in like their mid-20s, and it's just kind of like easy, like, yeah, I mean, she's turning into a woman and she's doing all this bad stuff, but hey, I mean, in the book, like, example Dany, she's only 13. We have a 13-year-old turning into a woman and killing everybody and doing all these amazing things, at least in the show, and it's just like, they're just kids, man. Like, I mean, this is some pretty tough stuff to grasp. So the age thing is just something that I just can't wrap my head around, and it's the biggest difference for me between the book and the show. Question 2, book or show? So like I said in my previous one, I haven't really read all the books. I mean, I kind of did start the second one, but I mean, I just haven't really read them. So I feel like I'm gonna be biased about it and go ahead and say the show because, one, it was the first one that I kind of saw, and I know that without the show I really would not have picked up the books. So I feel like even if I have read all the books at this point in my life, it still would have been the show, because like, if I'm being honest to myself, it's just such a different genre from what I typically read, and while I am enjoying the books, it's just something that I know would not have been within my radar without the show. Favorite episode or season? Now this one, it's kind of tough to go ahead and say favorite season, because I feel like for me, the seasons just keep getting better as I come along. So obviously I'm excited for season 7, but if I do have to pick an episode, it's gonna actually be a tie between the last 2 episodes of season 6. The first one, or rather second to last episode, is Battle of the Bastards. I mean, it was just beautiful. That shot when Jon Snow is just like slowly riding in, and it's just like, I got goosebumps, and it's just an episode that whenever I rewatch it, I just get so excited about, because the first time I saw it, I was like losing my mind. Now the last episode, The Winds of Winter, was just everything to me. I thought Battle of the Bastards was going to be my top 1 when I first saw it, but then the following episode came out and it was just everything. I mean, the whole Cersei thing, getting revenge on everyone with like the music playing in the background throughout the whole show, it was just, oh gosh, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I think like the music part was just something that was just extra meaningful for me, because I'm a huge fan of like classical music playing in with like what we see in the movies or in TV shows. So I feel like the reason that that episode was like so amazing for me was not just like the plot and what Cersei was doing, that's like, hey, she's absolutely lost her shit, but it's just like the music just kind of being like peaceful and kind of like lulling you in. You almost have this sense of like, everything's gonna be great, but then you're seeing this destructive stuff, and then Cersei's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of everyone, and just like so calm, and it's just like she has everything carefully planned. Question 4, who do I want to see on the throne? Yeah, that's it. That's the one. From the very beginning, it has always been House Targaryen. Now, I know that she is going a little bit crazy, and I can accept that, but hey, it's a family thing. It is just bound to happen. But hey, because everything is possible in this show, I need to have a second and a third option. My second option is Cersei. I mean, after that last episode on season 6, it was just everything to me. That cliffhanger, I was like, okay, it's gonna be between these two girls, and I have to root for one, and hey, the way Cersei is going, it might just be her, and you know what, I'm okay with it. After that episode, I was just kind of rooting for her. It's like, I don't even care if she's evil. She knows what she has to do to get on that throne, and I can support that. Now my third choice is, I feel like with everybody in the world, it's Jon Snow. He's just the safe choice, he's the smart choice, he knows what he has to do, he's compassionate, he has morals, he has it all. So I feel like it's gonna end up being between these three characters, and Jon Snow, it's just the safe one. He should be the one on the throne. I mean, for the 7 Kingdoms, Jon Snow, that's the guy everybody should be rooting for. Last question, expectations for season 7. Now, spoiler alert, and I'll either wait for you to exit the video or you can go ahead and continue on with the video at this point, depending on when you're watching. But we do know that Jon and Dany meet up, so I feel like they've either been fighting and then they're like, hey, Cersei's breathing down our neck, so we should get rid of her first before we start beating each other up. Or they go ahead and meet up to begin with, like, hey, I know you're like a chill guy, so let's fight together and get rid of Cersei. And I feel like that might either be the majority of season 7, that like Jon and Dany are fighting and they're like, hey, let's meet up and get rid of Cersei, and then they kill Cersei. Well, actually, see, like, the thing about Cersei is that she is not easy to kill. She's like a cockroach. Like, an atomic bomb can drop on her and she'll still be up and going. So I feel like either Cersei dies in the season, or that might be like the cliffhanger that they're like, it's about to be this like epic battle between Jon, Dany, and Cersei. But I mean, there's going to be something on. There's going to be like a major fight, and I'm hoping that it's going to be even more epic than the Battle of the Bastards, even though that one was kind of hard to top. Another thing that I'm kind of expecting is that Littlefinger might convince Sansa to go ahead and take the throne for herself, because obviously Littlefinger wants it for himself. So I feel like Sansa might go ahead and betray. You know what, actually? Let's just scrap everything that I said, because I have just had an epiphany. I feel like Jon and Dany will team up against Cersei, and Jon will either die within this season or the next season, and then it'll be Sansa and Dany against Cersei. They'll get rid of Cersei, and then it'll just be Dany and Sansa fighting against each other for the throne. And the reason that I'm kind of going with that one, that I feel like that might be the whole ending of the series, it's that we got Sansa that hits like, hey, she looks like fire, but she rules the ice, and then Dany that looks like ice, but rules fire, and it's just kind of like, you know, a song of ice and fire. So I don't know if it's just something that's been extremely obvious and I've only just kind of like gotten that, but I feel like that's what's gonna end up happening. So to kind of sum it all up, Jon dies, Cersei dies, it's Sansa against Dany, and then based on my choice, I hope that Dany wins. But to be honest, the way that House Targaryen kind of goes along, I'm kind of expecting that she's gonna die. Or the way that George R. Martin goes, it's everybody's going to die. And then it's going to be a little bit like Lost, that it's like, hey, everybody was actually dead this whole time and this whole thing just doesn't exist. Now, I do hope that I didn't go too off track, that I got too excited about the series and I just got jumbled up, which I have a lot of theories. I mean, this show, it's everything theories. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and of course, I'm really hoping that you'll tell me your own expectations for season 7. Unless you haven't seen Game of Thrones, then you really have to go ahead and see Game of Thrones, because it is absolutely everything. And as always, I am reading Clash of Kings by George Martin. So of course, with season 7, it is time to continue on reading the series, especially because after season 7 ends, I'm going to be just on the edge of my seat, because that means we are 1 year away from finding out who gets to be on the throne. So as always, please don't forget to comment down below who you think is going to end up on the throne, or what your expectations are for season 7. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.